This is a grammatical sentence formation course being taught by M. Kadirvadi Chennai. Dear friend, are you ready? Have you taken your note? Please keep it ready to start writing. Today, we are going to see idioms and phrases part 4. You just write heading idioms and phrases part 4. Idioms and phrases part 4. You just refer to part 1 for all the explanations about the idioms and phrases. Understand? You see here, I want to tell you one thing. If you are not able to write, don't worry. You just listen with the concentration. That is enough. What will happen? The grammatical structure of sentence will mind store out. That will lead to speaking. Shall we start? Okay. Set aside idiom. This is equivalent meaning reject. Set aside equivalent meaning reject. The judgment has been set aside by the Madras High Court. The judgment has been set aside by the Madras High Court. Madras High Court அந்த ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. The judgment has been set aside by the Madras High Court. Equivalent meaning, the judgment has been rejected by the Madras High Court. The judgment has been rejected by the Madras High Court. Madras High Court அந்த ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. Shall I repeat them? Okay. The judgment has been set aside by the Madras High Court. Equivalent meaning, the judgment has been rejected by the Madras High Court. Next. Set off. OF. Set off. Set off na start பண்றது கிளம்புறது. Okay. The boys set off to the mountain on a hiking expedition. The boy set off to the mountain on a hiking expedition. Hiking expedition என்ன மலை ஏறுறது. ஓகே. ஹைக்கிங் எக்ஸ்பெடிஷன் சம்பந்தமாக அந்த பாய்ஸ் அந்த பசங்க மலைக்கு கிளம்புனாங்க, ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாங்க. The boys set off to the mountains on a hiking expedition. Set off equivalent meaning started. The boys started to the mountains on a hiking expedition. The boys started to the mountains on a hiking expedition. Shall I repeat them? Okay. The boys set off to the mountains on a hiking expedition. Equivalent meaning, the boys started to the mountain on a hiking expedition. Next. Set out. Set out என்ன இதுவும் ஸ்டார்ட் கிளம்புறது புறப்படுறது. ஓகே, அது கிளம்பி புறப்படுறது. I set out to my office at 9 a.m. daily. I set out to my office at 9 a.m. daily. நான் டெய்லி 9 மணிக்கு நான் என்னுடைய ஆபீஸுக்கு புறப்படுறேன். I set out to my office at 9 a.m. daily. Equivalent meaning, I start my office at 9 a.m. daily. I start my office at 9 a.m. daily. நான் டெய்லி 9 o'clock என்னுடைய ஆபீஸுக்கு புறப்படுறேன். I start my office at 9 a.m. daily. I repeat them. Okay. I set out to my office at 9 a.m. daily. Equivalent meaning, I start my office at 9 a.m. daily. Next. Set up. Set up என்ன? Establish. ஸ்தாபிக்கிறது. Okay. He has set up a provision store. He has set up a provision store. அவர் ஒரு provision store செட் பண்ணியிருக்கிறார். Equivalent meaning, he has established a provision store. He has established a provision store. அவர் ஒரு provision store establish பண்ணியிருக்காரு. Shall I repeat them? Okay. He has set up a provision store. Equivalent meaning, he has established a provision store. Next. Set down. Set down என்ன? Write. எழுதுறது. The students set down what the lecturer dictated. The students set down what the lecturer dictated. Lecturer என்ன dictate பண்ணாரோ students எழுதுனாங்க. The students set down what the lecturer dictated. Equal meaning, the students wrote what the lecturer dictated. The students wrote what the lecturer dictated. Lecturer என்ன dictate பண்ணாரோ students எழுதுனாங்க. The students wrote what the lecturer dictated. Shall I repeat them? Okay. The students set down what the lecturer dictated. Equal meaning, the students wrote what the lecturer dictated. Next. Set in. Set in and begin. Set in. Idiom set in. Set in. Begin. Equal meaning begin. The monsoon has set in. The monsoon has set in. Monsoon பருவநிலை ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கிறது. The monsoon has set in. Equal meaning the monsoon has begun. The monsoon has begun. Monsoon பருவநிலை ஆரம்பித்திருக்கிறது. The monsoon has begun. Should I repeat them? Okay. The monsoon has set in. Equal meaning the monsoon has begun. Next. Set forth. Set forth என்ன? Explain. Set forth. F-O-R-T-H. Set forth. The lawyer set forth his arguments ably. The lawyer set forth his arguments ably. The lawyer அவருடைய arguments திறமையாக explain பண்ணினார். The lawyer set forth his arguments ably. Equal meaning the lawyer explained his arguments ably. The lawyer explained his arguments ably. The lawyer திறமையாக அவருடைய arguments explain பண்ணார். The lawyer explained his arguments ably. Should I repeat them? Okay. The lawyer set forth his arguments ably. Equal meaning the lawyer explained his arguments ably. Next. Put forth. Put forth என்ன? Place before. Place before. The members put forth their objections to the proposal. The members put forth their objections to the proposal. Members அந்த ப்ரொபோசலுக்கு அவங்களுடைய அப்ஜெக்ஷனை பிளேஸ் பண்ணார்கள், முன்னாடி வைத்தார்கள் அப்படின்னு எடுத்துக்கலாம். The members put forth their objections to the proposal. Equal meaning the members placed before their objections to the proposal. The members placed before their objections to the proposal. Members அந்த ப்ரொபோசலுக்கு அவங்களுடைய அப்ஜெக்ஷன்ஸை முன்வைத்தனர். The members placed before their objections to the proposal. Should I repeat them? Okay. The members put forth their objections to the proposal. Equal meaning the members placed before their objections to the proposal. Next. Take up. In the case of take up, not consider. I will take up the work within a few days. I will take up the work within a few days. ஒரு சில நாட்களுக்குள்ளே அந்த ஒர்க்கை கன்சிடர் பண்ணுவேன், அது எடுக்கிறத பற்றி கன்சிடர் பண்ணுவேன் அப்படின்னு எடுத்துக்கணும். I will take up the work within a few days. Equal meaning I will consider the work within a few days. I will consider the work within a few days. ஒரு சில நாட்களுக்குள்ளே நான் அந்த ஒர்க்கை கன்சிடர் பண்ணுவேன். அது செய்யறதா செய்யலையா அது அப்புறம், பட் கன்சிடர் பண்ணுவேன். Repeat them. Okay. I will take up the work within a few days. Equal meaning I will consider the work within a few days. Next. Take down. Take down. That means what? Write down அர்த்தம். Okay. The police officer took down the statement of the dying person. The police officer took down the statement of the dying person. இறக்கும் தருவாய் சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, இறக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி சில வாக்குமூலம் வாங்குவோம், அதுதான் இது. ஸோ இறந்து கொண்டிருக்க அந்த பர்சனுடைய ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டை போலீஸ் ஆஃபீஸர் எழுதினார். அப்போ டுக் டவுன்னா என்ன? ரைட் டவுன் அர்த்தம். த போலீஸ் ஆஃபீஸர் டுக் டவுன் த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் த டையிங் பர்சன், DYING. ஈக்குவல் மீனிங் த போலீஸ் ஆஃபீஸர் wrote down the statement of the dying person. The police officer wrote down the statement of the dying person. இறந்து கொண்டிருக்கும் அந்த பர்சனுடைய ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டை இந்த போலீஸ் ஆஃபீஸர் எழுதினார். Shall I repeat them? Okay. The police officer took down the statement of the dying person. Equal meaning the police officer wrote down the statement of the dying person. Okay. அவர் இறக்கல, இறந்துக்கிட்டு கொஞ்ச நேரத்தில் இறந்துருவாரு, அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த வாக்குமூலத்தை வாங்குறாங்க. ஓகே. இங்க ஹியர் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் அது வாக்குமூலம் மாதிரி. ஓகே. நெக்ஸ்ட். டேக் ஆஃப். டேக் ஆஃப். OF. டேக் ஆஃப்னு கிளம்புறது, ஃபிளைட் டேக் ஆஃப் பண்ணும்ல, அதுதான். லீவ். டேக் ஆஃப்னா லீவ். The plane took off at 10 o'clock last night. The plane took off at 10 o'clock last night. அந்த plane லாஸ்ட் நைட் 10 o'clock கிளம்பியது. The plane took off at 10 o'clock last night. Equivalent meaning the plane left at 10 o'clock last night. The plane left at 10 o'clock last night. And the plane last night 10 o'clock கிளம்பியது. Will I repeat them? Okay. The plane took off at 10 o'clock last night. Equivalent meaning the plane left at 10 o'clock last night. Next. Take over. Take over என்ன? Confiscate. Confiscate பறிமுதல் பண்றது டேக் ஓவர்னா. இன்னொரு கேஸ்ல சார்ஜ் எடுத்துக்கிறது அதுவும் டேக் ஓவர் தான். இன்னொரு கேஸ்ல கான்பிஸ்கேட் பறிமுதல் பண்றது. ஓகே. The government took over his property because he had not paid his taxes. The government took over his property because he had not paid his taxes. கவர்மெண்ட் அவருடைய ப்ராப்பர்ட்டியை பறிமுதல் செய்தது. ஏனென்றால் அவர் அவருடைய டாக்ஸஸை பே பண்ணல. The government took over his property because he had not paid his taxes. Equal to meaning the government confiscated his property because he had not paid his taxes. The government confiscated his property because he had not paid his taxes. Will I repeat them? Okay. The government took over his property because he had not paid his taxes. Equal meaning the government confiscated his property because he had not paid his taxes. Next. Take after. Take after resemble. அதாவது ஒத்து இருக்கிறது ஒத்து போயிடும். ஒத்து இருக்கிறது அப்படின்னு எடுத்துக்கலாம். ரெசம்பிள். ஓகே. சொல்லுவோம்ல அவங்க அப்பா மாதிரியே இருக்காது. அவங்க அம்மா மாதிரியே இருக்கு. அந்த மாதிரி. ஓகே. சீதா takes after her mother in her love of music. Sita takes after her mother in her love of music. அவ மியூசிக்கை லவ் பண்ணுவதில் நேசிப்பதில்ல. சீதா அவருடைய மதர் போலவே இருக்கா. சீதா டேக்ஸ் ஆஃப்டர் her mother in her love of music. Equal meaning resemble. Okay. Sita resembles third person singular verb place சேர்க்கணும். After சேர்த்துக்கூடாது. Sita resembles her mother in her love of music. Sita resembles her mother in her love of music. Music அவ நேசிப்பதில்ல. சீதா அவருடைய மதரை போலவே இருக்கா. சீதா resembles her mother in her love of music. Shall I repeat them? Okay. Sita takes after her mother in her love of music. Equal meaning Sita resembles her mother in her love of music. Then tell upon. Tell upon affect. Affect. Tell upon. Smoking tells upon our health. Smoking tells upon our health. Smoking நம்முடைய ஹெல்த் அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணுகிறது. ஸ்மோக்கிங் tells upon our health. Equal meaning smoking affects our health. Smoking affects our health. Smoking நம்முடைய ஹெல்த் அஃபெக்ட்ஸ் பண்ணுகிறது. I repeat them. Okay. Smoking tells upon our health. Equal meaning smoking affects our health. Last one. Turn out. Turn out என்ன ப்ரொடியூஸ் அர்த்தம். இடியம் வந்து turn out. Equal meaning produce. This factory turns out enormous quantities of cloth every day. This factory turns out enormous quantities of cloth every day. Every day, ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் இந்த ஃபேக்டரி அதிக குவான்டிட்டிஸ் ஆஃப் க்ளோத்தை உற்பத்தி பண்ணுகிறது, ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுகிறது அப்படின்னு. This factory turns out enormous quantities of cloth every day. Equal meaning this factory produces. Understand? This factory produces enormous quantities of cloth every day. This factory produces enormous quantities of cloth every day. Understand? Can I repeat them? Okay. This factory turns out enormous quantities of cloth every day. Equal meaning this factory produces enormous quantities of cloth every day. Is it clear? Have you written correctly? Have you understood? Okay. Let me finish up to this level. Thank you very much for having attended this class continuously. If you like this course, if you are interested in attending this class, If it creates any positive vibration in your mind, please share with your friends and others. It will definitely, certainly, surely make my dreams realize. I will meet you this time tomorrow. Until then, goodbye. M. Kadrividu. Thank you.